watch this video and we will definitely be talking about it.
When you take out a beautiful woman and you're courting her, because I get courted. So you're courting her, right? You're supposed to take care of her. You're supposed to cover her. You're supposed to protect her, cherish her, treat her well, right?
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do.
I agree. I went into this date as I expect, with the expectations for myself, to keep you safe, you know, to respect you, to pay for your food, of course, pick you up, of course, and just treat you like a gentleman, which I believe I have done.
I mean, you've been pretty nice, but I mean, Cheesecake Factory.
Well, look at my planner, where we were gonna go originally.
See, now that's where we should have went. All right there. Call him.
No.
What do you mean no?
See, I specifically told you both yesterday and this morning that I'd come to pick you up at 4 p.m. Right? And I got to your place at 4 p.m. You didn't even come downstairs for another hour, and so I was waiting downstairs for an hour. Right?
But I wasn't expecting for work to take me so long. I got home a little late, and like I said, I don't know you well enough to invite you up into my apartment, and that is not possible.
And that's why I'm thinking, okay, if we're not there in the relationship to, you know, meet at your apartment, then maybe we're not ready in a relationship for such a nice, fancy restaurant as Aria. Especially if I'm paying for the whole thing, which I'm still willing to do. I would have been, but if we're late, I told you twice.
It wasn't that late.
We literally left your place at the time the reservation was supposed to be. And I specifically said 4 because maybe we could get there early and even have some time to get to know each other on the way there and while we're in the parking lot. I'm waiting for a reservation.
We can still get to know each other. Isn't there another restaurant you can call that, like, you know, equivalent to that? I mean,
I literally
you don't understand. Look at me. I cannot go in the Cheesecake Factory.
There's nothing wrong with
I will die. That's embarrassing.
Listen, as I said, I have very specific certain expectations for that.
No.
I can tell it's not gonna be there. And maybe we're not right for each other. So, respectfully, I'm gonna just drop you off at home.
Oh, no, he didn't.
Yeah.
So, listen. We have got to find a happy medium between sprinkle and guy who pays the light bill. Here's the truth of the matter. Most of us are going to end up in relationships with, if that's what you want, with men who are in proximity to us financially. They're going to be in the same tax bracket, maybe a step ahead or a step under you. That's just how the world is kind of built. Wealthy people usually marry other wealthy people because that's who is in that kind of social circle. Now, I do know of women who kind of made it their mission to snag a wealthy man, and I'll tell you the God's honest truth. Those women were always broke. It costs money to run in those social circles. You got to pay to go to the best restaurants, to wear the best clothes, your car, to eat at, to sit courtside so you can be in the same atmosphere as them. And they were always broke, waiting for their next rich person to pay a bill for them so they can get by. And then when that rich person is done with them, they're broke and waiting for the next. It wound up not being worth it. I totally understand we don't want to be with a guy who can only afford to just pay the light bill. I'm not saying to do that, but I'm saying to some extent we have to be a little bit realistic here. I personally don't think there's anything wrong with Cheesecake Factory. And let me just say this. I used to work in the jewelry industry and in banking. And I just have a variety of different kinds of friends. People who have lots of money. And a lot of them, I've lived up north and down south. A lot of them are just like down to earth people who probably would go to Cheesecake Factory. A lot of them, the nice ones, don't want to be in like a 5-star atmosphere. There are some who are. I know that, I'm not fucking stupid. But most of them are just regular people with several extra zeros in their bank account. How do I say? Yeah, that's kind of what it's like. So they would be the type of person who would probably take you to the Cheesecake Factory. If not, something maybe a step ahead of it. But they're not all hanging out at Michelin star restaurants. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm sorry, the average American just ain't millionairing. Millionaires ain't millionairing like they used to. They be living check to check too. As a matter of fact, I was talking to a guy that works in investments, and he said a lot of those rich people are living check to check. So they don't be having any money either. But like I said, the average couple is either in a income household situation where they're both having to work. The man might pay the bulk of the bills, and you might pay like the utilities and stuff like that. Or where maybe he takes care of everything and you at least work part-time. But just to be realistic, most of y'all are not going to be the sprinkle lady with a rich ass husband. Now, I totally understand, disqualifying a guy because he ain't got no job, or he just, makes like significantly less than you, because ain't nothing worse than a broke, miserable man. But also, you don't want to disqualify somebody simply just because they're not rich, especially if you don't run in those social circles, and especially if you are not willing to put up the money it costs to run in those social circles. Let's use Nicole Richie as an example. Everybody's like, oh, she stepped up her game. She married somebody super rich. Do y'all not know who her father is? They've been in those social circles. This ain't a Cinderella story, okay? You see what I'm saying? Now, yes, I want you to be delusional and have your dreams and have your goals, but don't back yourself into a corner because you only want somebody that's rich, because it's an expensive thing to try to keep up with the Joneses so you can be in their social circles. And, I've been doing this since 2008 and talking to various women on and off social media, and rich men can be controlling and manipulative because they have the money and the power and the network. So getting abused by one of them and taking advantage of them, you don't want to be abused by anyone, but what I'm saying is they have the power to completely destroy your life. And I once heard a woman say something like, if you marry a rich man, you'll earn every penny. And plus, that was just rude. How she acted was just rude. And I raised my kids to be respectful, but they're not rude people like that. It's not like he took her to the McDonald's drive-thru. I mean, Cheesecake Factory, is it a 5-star restaurant? No. But it's not a horrible place. I have no problem with it. I don't know. I hope y'all got the point of this video because I tend to ramble. But yeah, I'm on the side of the guy in this one. And y'all know me. If I say that, there's a reason. But I think he was right in what he did.